If you happen to be watching this as I release this video, then you know this is all around the news. With the coronavirus sweeping across the world, causing panic and worry, I decided to make a video to give you guys the essential vocabulary you will need in English in order to talk about this serious issue with all confidence. With that being said, let's get going. I'll see you again in the dark side. The thing about the COVID-19 is that it's contagious. And COVID-19 is nothing but another way of saying coronavirus. As I've just mentioned, it's contagious. Now, this is an adjective and it describes something that is spread easily from person to person, which means that passes from person to person. Here we're talking about the coronavirus, and that is something that can be spread from person to person. A more formal way or scientific way to say give or pass a disease is to transmit. So it started out that the coronavirus was an epidemic. This one could be a noun and could also be an adjective. An epidemic is something happening in a small area with a small amount of people. Now, unfortunately, it is considered to be a pandemic, which means it's concerning many people across many countries and across the globe. Another keyword that you might have heard of a lot in the news or read in certain articles is the verb to contract. If you've noticed, I didn't pronounce it contract, but contract. And this simply means to become affected with a certain disease. Let me give you an example sentence. Many people across the country contracted the coronavirus. Many people across the country contracted the coronavirus. And next up, we have the word fatality. Fatality is a death caused by a disease, accident, a war, etc. It's usually used in those contexts. Obviously, in this case, and sadly, it's with the coronavirus. So, an example sentence would be, the first fatality in the USA happened 2 weeks ago. The first fatality in the USA happened 2 weeks ago. Incubation period. This stands for the time it takes for signs and symptoms of a virus to appear in someone so that they are visible. There are estimates that the incubation period for COVID-19, which is the coronavirus, are between 1 and 14 days. Next is outbreak. This is a noun and it means the sudden start of a virus, a war, etc. in a certain area. But we do usually use it in order to talk about diseases and viruses. When someone is believed to be diagnosed with the coronavirus, that's when he or she should be separated from everybody else, and that's what we call quarantine. The preposition that goes with this phrase is in quarantine. I've also seen under quarantine being used as well, so a city could be under quarantine or someone could be under quarantine. In or under, both prepositions are accepted. Now, there are a lot of restrictions in many different countries that health departments or governments put on their citizens. Like, you can travel freely from one place to another. If you've come from this or that country, you should be put under quarantine. So, there is a lot going on, right? So, restrictions are simply measures taken by health departments or governments in order to control the spread of the virus and hopefully eradicate the COVID-19. And eradicate is to kill completely or to wipe out. So hopefully we will find a vaccine to eradicate the coronavirus and wipe it out. Next up, we have stockpiling. Now, this is to gather a large amount of things, goods, and products that you need. Now, the context that I'm thinking of here is with food. I've seen reports of people going to supermarkets and grocery stores and buying up piles of toilet rollers or loads of dried food or dry food so that they don't run out at home. Well, that was stockpiling. Alright, so next we have asymptomatic. This is an adjective and this describes someone who has a virus but doesn't really show any symptoms. Okay, so with the coronavirus, we do have coughing, we do have fever and symptoms like that. So someone who is asymptomatic doesn't really show any of these symptoms. They look perfectly normal. Bear in mind that the opposite of this one, which means the opposite of asymptomatic, is symptomatic. Symptomatic. Last but not least, work remotely. Work remotely. This is to work away from your office, probably at home at the moment in this context. Alright, you guys, in the comment section down below, I want you to use these vocabulary words to describe the state and the amount of the outbreak of the coronavirus in your country. And before wrapping up this video, I want to remind all of you guys, no matter where you live in the world, do not forget to wash your hands constantly and not get into any unnecessary contact with symptomatic people. Well, we reached the end of this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you liked it, and share it with your friends to spread awareness. Catch you guys soon, and until then, stay blessed.